Let's say hello to Harry Phibbs. Harry, very good morning to you.
Morning.
Nice to see you. I mean, there are an awful lot of backtracking people these days going around, aren't they? Let's have a look at Angela Rayner for a start. She's somebody that we hadn't mentioned up until now about Donald Trump, but Angela Rayner didn't have much to say either.
Donald Trump is killing, thousands of Americans by giving them duff advice, and his macho, I'm all right, look at me, I've survived COVID, is an absolute buffoon. He has no place in the White House. He's an embarrassment, and he should be ashamed of himself.
Angela Rayner, he should be ashamed of himself. He's a buffoon. He's killing thousands of Americans. I mean, yet another cabinet minister who's going to have to eat humble pie when Donald Trump comes on his first maiden trip to the UK.
Yes, and they've been behaving like sort of grumpy teenagers, student politicians shouting about everybody they disagree with being a fascist, being a Nazi, all this kind of abuse. And it's very foolish in various ways. I mean, obviously, America's our important ally. It's crucial for us to try and get a trade deal with America. If we do, then we can have more free trade, and that, as any economist will tell you, is an important route to prosperity. Whether we're trading within each other in this country or trading around the world, that's absolutely crucial for economic growth. And if we fail to get that, then it looks as though Donald Trump's going to be imposing extra tariffs, which would be very harmful to our economy. So, it's obviously, in terms of British national interest, it's an extremely unfortunate that we've had these things. But in any case, going around accusing people of being Nazis is actually insulting to the memory of all those people who were killed by Hitler. I mean, it trivialises it, and it's crying wolf, because if which occasionally happens, there are genuine neo-Nazis that people should be alerted to in different parts of the world. It obviously that trying to highlight that lacks any credibility if language is used in such an absurd, sloppy way.
Well, it totally does, and it diminishes, as you say, the real people that we should perhaps be demonising for being Nazis. But it's not just not just David Lamy. I mean, we're seeing quite a few tweets being put up here on the screen. Deluded, dishonest, xenophobic, narcissistic. Donald Trump is no friend of Britain. He is not fit to hold public office, let alone worthy of our country's highest honours and a banquet with the Queen. Theresa May is selling out the UK to a serial liar and a cheat. I mean, absolutely unbelievable. David Lamy, now Foreign Secretary, head of Foreign and Commonwealth Affairs for the British government. I mean, he has already met Donald Trump, and one of the points that I made yesterday is that Donald Trump will now treat David Lamy as his kind of, personal slave, because he'll basically know that Lamy will do anything to get back into his good books.
Oh, it does. It leaves us in a humiliating position. It's also not very smart politics to go around if you're trying to win over people. Throwing insults at them isn't a way of converting them to your viewpoint. I mean, they can argue that a lot of these tweets were from years ago, but of course they've then recently made it far worse by sending a whole lot of Labour supporters over to campaign for Kamala Harris, possibly breaching the rules in terms of the cost of their airfares and so on. But even if it wasn't a technical breach of the rules, it's obviously incredibly insulting to sending British people over to say, look here, you Americans, this is how you must vote, which is going to backfire. And of course it's going to antagonise Trump. I mean, we know it already has antagonised him, that this was done, and that's not something they can say, oh, that's years ago. That's something that's been current, that's just been happening.
Yeah, and it's not just the likes of Lamy and Angela Rayner. It's Wes Streeting as well. Wes Streeting said in 2017, Trump is such an odious, sad little man. Imagine being proud to have that as your president. Ed Miliband in 2016, racist, misogynistic, self-confessed groper, just won the presidency. And Keir Starmer, of course, the leader, said humanity and dignity, 2 words not understood by President Trump. And that's not the end of it. He also said in 2019, an endorsement from Donald Trump tells you everything you need to know about what is wrong with Boris Johnson's politics and why he isn't fit to be Prime Minister. You know, I mean, it's not as if it's like one thing you have to apologise for. It's a litany of continuous abuse that every single Labour cabinet minister, it would appear, has made about Donald Trump.
He's insulting Donald Trump, but also, of course, indirectly insulting all those millions of Americans who voted for him. Because if you're saying you've got this person who's a complete monster, completely stupid, whatever, it's saying how could anybody be so evil and mad and stupid to vote for him? It's a very insulting way of speaking about the Americans. And it's a strange thing to be picking on Donald Trump when around the world there are all sorts of people who really are dictators, and many countries that don't have any freedom or democracy. And we have, understandably, we have diplomatic relations with them. We have trade with those countries. We try and make allies where we can. But when there are some pretty unpleasant countries in the world that we do business with, to single out Donald Trump for this abuse is absolutely perverse.
It is. And what do you make of the situation now with Nigel Farage? Because Nigel, of course, was with Donald Trump over in Mar-a-Lago on Tuesday night. We had him on the show here. We interviewed him early hours of the morning there for him. He is now the single closest person to Donald Trump in British Parliament, no less, and probably in any other arena as well. He offered to us live on our show to be a sort of bridge, to be a kind of go-between between the Labour government and the US government led by Donald Trump. If there was any talk to be done about trade matters, if there was any talk to be done about any number of things, he will offer himself up to Keir Starmer, but presumably Keir Starmer, not being very, shall we say, imaginative, probably won't take him up on the offer.
I don't think it's at all likely he will, but Keir Starmer, one of his sound bites he kept repeating was that he would put country before party. Well, this would be an opportunity to do it. It would clearly be in the national interest, in our national interest, for anybody who can secure good relations with Donald Trump to be put to the service of the country. But it would be very damaging for the Labour Party, because it would be a controversial move that would cause howls of indignation and a split in the Labour Party. And so I think Keir Starmer, because he will put the Labour Party's interests and party unity before the national interest and the great importance of securing a trade deal and other security links and all the obvious imperative of good relations with the United States, he will put that second to wanting to maintain Labour Party unity from all the woke people on his back benches.
Yes, absolutely right, which will be a battle in itself. Harry, good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.